Welcome to the RBV Show. A show where what else are we gonna do? We're gonna talk about the AFC Championship games. We're gonna talk about the MVPs. We're gonna talk about the wonks of the week. We're gonna talk about the dopes of the day, and we're also gonna talk about morons of the month. Because what the hell, What else are you gonna do? Let's get to it. Lock of the week. Tampa Bay did hit. Tampa Bay. Detroit did hit. They beat Tampa Bay. It was a close one. It was a close one. The Lions did play well. They ran the ball well, and St. Brown, played a great game, and they got us over the hump. Which was good, and it hit for the lock of the week. The Lions set by 6, and it hit. Now, unfortunately, in breaking news for the lock of the week, Zay Flowers didn't get over the yard, so he missed it by 9. That was pretty disappointing. I thought he was going to be featured more in the passing game. That might be the last time I do a lock of the week involving over-unders on yards. That didn't really work out for me, and I'm losing the battle against my headphones, so I don't know if that's a good way for the show or what. But what are you going to do? Thoughts from divisional weekend. I was really impressed by the Ravens. They handled Houston very thoroughly, 34-10. Lamar Jackson, there's not much more that needs to be said about him. He played great, and they look ready for Kansas City this weekend, to say the least. Lively, Zay, Odell, they got a good, they got a good receiver course. They got a great running game. They're going to give Kansas City all they can handle. And, that's the fact of the matter. One thing I think that, I think about the Ravens is, their defense is really good. And I also think this game, I think Kansas City is going to miss Tyreek, and I know it's 2 years ago, but they are going to miss Tyreek Hill because he can't stretch the field as well. And I don't think the Ravens defense is going to lay down like Buffalo did, but, it's a story for another day. Second game, obviously, was San Francisco versus Green Bay. I thought this was going to be a lot closer than 9-point spread, and I was right. A couple of things from this game. I don't trust the Niners defense at all. They couldn't stop Aaron Jones. I realize Aaron Jones is a great running back and so forth, but they really didn't. Green Bay gashed them, and they also got gashed by the passing plays. And I think they're going to have a lot of problems, and we'll preview this later with the Lions, and I'll get to that. I thought Green Bay gave them all they could handle. I thought Love played with the exception of the throw across the body, I thought he played a really good game. And he did the best he could. And, Green Bay isn't at San Francisco's level, but what are you going to do? They will be, though, if Love keeps improving and that, the defense keeps going. I mean, they turned some heads, so what are you going to, they played well. I think the third thing is Kansas City, Buffalo. I thought Buffalo choked this game away. There's no other way to put it. Their defense didn't show up. Their offense was making bonehead decisions. If they had so many chances to win this game, if Stephon Diggs had caught that long bomb in the second half that went right through his arms, and obviously the field goal kick. I mean, you got to make that, and that was such a shank job. I mean, wide right. I mean, God, Scott Norwood must have just been like, "What the hell is this?" I don't think Kansas City really played that well. Buffalo defense played like shit, and I know Kelsey and caught the TD, and Taylor, Tay went nuts, and his brother did whatever, all those stupid antics. But I don't know. I don't think Kansas City. I don't think it was that impressive. And my my earbud fell out, so that's great. So kind of skipping the divisional round to conference championships. So let's go over. First we'll get to the lock of the week in Detroit and San Francisco. I don't buy San Francisco at all. I don't give a fuck if it's at home. A lot of people are sitting here saying, "Oh, Christian McCaffrey, and that's great. Look, the spread's 7. All the Detroit Lions need to do is slow McCaffrey down, and handle Kittle and handle Ayuk. Yeah, I get it. It's a tall task. But San Francisco not having Debo as of this time is going to be a huge loss. And I got news for you. Prudy didn't play that well last week. He really didn't. Green Bay could have picked off a bunch of those passes and went through their arms, and he just didn't play well. It's that simple. And you can't play like shit in the freaking NFC Championship game and expect to win. Never mind cover 7 points. So why do I think the Lions can win this or cover the spread, if not win? Okay, first of all, St. Brown is a huge deal. Green Bay put up 21 on San Francisco, and they literally had a bunch of no-name receivers. I mean, they were more banged up than Robbie V and coming out of alumni back in the day at like 1 a.m. Number 2, Lions can run the ball, and they have a good thunder and lightning with, Montgomery and Gibbs. And if Green Bay had no problem freaking running down their throat, I don't really think Detroit is either, because you have St. Brown over the top, you got the tight end. I don't think that the 49ers defense is going to be up to the task. And number 3, I think Goff is enough experience back there where, he's not going to have to win them the game. They're going to run the ball. They're going to do play action. The weather in San Francisco is going to be great. So weather's not a factor here, guys. So for the lock of the week, I take Lions +7. I don't think, I get the whole, it's the 3rd straight week or whatever, but San Francisco's missing, Debo. McCaffrey can only throw, take him so far. If the Lions can slow McCaffrey down and force Prudy to, have to throw the ball, he hasn't been playing well lately, and he could be, the Achilles heel of the Niners. It's that simple. You take the Lions +7, and that's the lock of the week. And if it's, +7.5, 8, you even take it more because, the betting public is way too much on the Niners. It's that simple. All right. The second game, Kansas City, Baltimore. I honestly wouldn't touch this game because I don't know who's going to win. I think both teams could honestly win this. If you want to preview, I mean, Ravens-Chiefs battles, I mean, there was the great Sunday Night Football battle. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. Will Lamar beat Mahomes when the Ravens basically just ran down their throat. I think the Chiefs' offense is good, but I don't think to go into Baltimore, I think it's a tall task for them to put up, 28, 35 or 35 or 28 points. And I think the Ravens have enough pieces, and they're going to pound the effing ball on the Kansas City defense, and they're going to shorten the game and basically keep Mahomes off the field. That's going to be their play. I'm not doing a lock of the week this game. If my heart wants the Ravens, my head thinks somehow Mahomes is going to do this like last week. I'm not even a Ravens fan. Don't. Drew Ban did not put me up to saying this, and I know I'm going to piss people off either way. But I mean, I do want the Ravens. That's just me, even though I can't stand them. I think it would be a better Super Bowl if it was Ravens Lions or Ravens Niners than Chiefs. I'm sick of the Chiefs. I also don't want to deal with our dope of the day today. I guess since I only have one lock of the week, I'm going to clue you in. I mean, basically, this is how the lock of the weeks are going to go for this week. I'm going to actually tweet out a lock of the week on Friday. I might do a video. It's going to be the GVE lock of the week for Friday. And then on Saturday, I'll pick a college basketball game. That'll be the second lock of the week. That I can promise you. So you'll get 2 Robbie V videos of my lovely dome piece. And that's the way it's going to go down. So you got your Lions +7 and the other locks of the week are to be determined. I'm trying to keep the public honest here. All right. So breaking news before the show. Chargers are close to hiring Jim Harbaugh from Michigan, who obviously just won the national championship. I'm not surprised that Harbaugh did a great job with the 49ers. He did a great job to Michigan. He brought him home in Natty, and they've been kicking Ohio State's ass. and whatnot. I think that obviously the Michigan recruiting class, I mean, it's going to take a little bit of a hit because a lot of those guys came because of Harbaugh and whatnot. But, what are you going to do? Him going to the Chargers is interesting. I mean, they really do have a good offense with Eckler and Herbert. He really just has to build a defense, and he has to get somehow he has to get Los Angeles to give a shit about the Chargers. Because as everyone knows, I mean, if you go to a Chargers game, it's basically a home. It's a home game for the away team, which is unfortunate. But it's not unfortunate. I mean, there are much bigger problems in life. The other news that came out today, I think Harbaugh is probably going to be successful, but I think his plan, step one and step two is to hit free agency hard and get some defensive players that can solidify. And he's obviously in a tough division, AFC West with the Chiefs and whatnot. So he definitely has a tall task. But I mean, with what he did with the Niners, I'm sure he's up for it. Nick Sirianni honestly came out. He said he's out to reprove after the Eagles' collapse. I'll be honest. I'm pretty surprised Nick Sirianni still has a job. I mean, that was an utter freaking collapse. It was just terrible. And, I mean, you have that talent of a team, and we've talked about this before. I'm really surprised that Lurie didn't, pull the trigger and say, "Hey, like, get you out of here." And I might not like Bill Belichick, but I mean, I need him for this team. But what are you going to do? It'd also be very interesting to see where Belichick ends up now that the Chargers are out and Sirianni supposedly is okay with it, back in vogue with the Eagles. I mean, I guess the Falcons are the likely destination, but and there are some pieces there, but it's a pretty substantial rebuild. So we'll see what happens. What else is going on? So let's get to the MVPs. If you're going to talk about MVPs, I mean, you got to talk about Lamar Jackson. He did a great job. He played well, and he did good. And also the MVPs of the Lions, for winning one for the lock of the week. Dope of the day goes to Robbie V for freaking, believing in Zay Flowers. It's just, I don't know if I was blinded by whatever, but, by love of Zay. But Jesus Christ, I mean, it was an abomination for the lock of the week. And, shame. That's all I can say. Another dope of the day is, Travis Kelce's brother, I think his name is Jason Kelce. Let me just double check that. Might as well. Yep, got that right. Yeah, if you want to go act like an idiot in an NFL stadium, that's great, but I mean, just chugging beers and, being a buffoon and obnoxious and, jumping out of luxury boxes and taking 10-year-old girls so they can say hi to Taylor Swift and probably scaring the thousands and and quite frankly the millions of viewers at home. I'm not saying Jason can't go out and go ham, but maybe he should stay in the luxury box like a normal human being. Maybe put a shirt on. But he's retired and he's going to do what he's going to do. But he's still dope of the day for actions. He just needs to clean it up a little bit, I mean, he wants to go out and party with the opposing team's fans. That's an interesting call considering his brother plays for Kansas City. I don't know, Jason. You made a bad call. Walk of the week goes to the MBTA for constantly fucking up my commute, being late, and it's just really pissing me off. And, finally the MBTA sucks. If I didn't have to take it, I wouldn't. It's a hot tip from Robbie V. Don't pick your nose. It's a bad call. It's a bad look. Just make sure you don't do that. All right. And then the other MVPs, the fucking Green Line being closure, so poor Bruins fans can't freaking make it to the game tonight. It's just awful. It's just fucking bullshit. I just want to point out the Bruins the Bruins are playing well. hopefully they keep this up and make another great cup run. You know, man. No, and I hope they do it. All right, well that's it for the show. So what I want you to do is I want you to watch, Mount Kirkmore, Steve from Gloucester show, obviously the Kirk Minahan show, Quantum Kirk, and all the other great shows on the network. And also, make the MVP move and subscribe to the network. There's tons of great content on here from all the Minifans. It's definitely worth watching. All right, well, and I want you to stay tuned to the freaking Robbie V Twitter handle at Robbie V Loves It. For Friday and Saturday's locks of the week. Anyway, Friday lock of the week is sponsored by GVE. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great show so far. A lot better than last week. And I want everyone to have a good night. And remember, don't do anything I wouldn't do, which isn't much. Have a good night.